Hey folks, Nathan here. As we saw in our last video, the parachute was the point of failure in the first set of our Aquarion launches. Today, we're going to be building a new parachute with stronger materials to ensure the same thing doesn't happen again. So, let's jump straight into it. To build our parachute, we're using a garbage bag, some macrame cord, and some Gorilla Tape. The first thing we want to do is take our scissors and cut both sides of the garbage bag open. When this is done, you should have a nice long flat piece of garbage bag. If your garbage bag has ribbons built into it, cut those off as well. Once you've got your nice flat piece of garbage bag, fold it in half, and then in half again. You should now have one corner where both folds have occurred. This will be the center of your parachute. Pick the opposite corner and cut a quarter circle all the way around. Now when you unfold, this will be a full circle, and this will be the canvas to your parachute. Next, we take our Gorilla Tape, cut out a 1.5 to 2 inch size square, and then fold it around the edges of our parachute. You should have half of the tape on one side and half on the other. Later on, we're going to poke a hole through this and put our cord through. I personally like to use 8 sections of tape and place them equidistant around the parachute, so we should end up with 8 shroud lines. With the tape in place, we now need to cut our macrame cord. I like to measure it out as roughly twice the diameter of the parachute to start with, and then we can cut it down later as needed. Once you've got one piece of cord cut, you can use that as a measuring tool for the others. You want one piece of cord for each piece of tape you have on your parachute. With our cord now prepared, we can start actually assembling our parachute. First, poke a hole through one of the pieces of tape from one side to the other. I used a pencil to do this, but feel free to use any sharp tool that you've got. Just make sure it can make a hole large enough for your cord to fit through. With our cord all the way through, we can just tie a nice strong knot, and this should keep it in place. Repeat this for each piece of tape on your parachute. Make sure that all your shroud lines are coming from the same side of the parachute. If you have any that aren't, this could cause extra folds which could reduce the effectiveness of your chute. With our shroud lines now complete, our next step is to neaten them up a little by tying them midway and then near the end. For this step, I just use some black electrical tape. It's not really an important step, but it's something that I like to do because it stops the lines from getting tangled, and it means that everything fits a bit easier into the nose cone. So here is our finished parachute cord. If we pull it up, we can see that it flares out. Back down, pull it up, and it flares. So this is showing us that it's going to catch the air really well. And now all that's left to do is to attach the parachute to the rocket. I'll show you how I do it, but you don't have to do it this way. If you're dealing with pyro rockets, then you'll probably have a very different way of doing this. So my payload bay has what is essentially just this bit of thread, which you can see here. And it's been bombarded with liquid nails and super glue, so even if I pull hard, that's not going anywhere. So what I want to do is grab the end of my chute, thread it under here, line these bits here up, and then grab a bit of tape and just tie those two together. Make sure our tape is nice and tight. That around a few times. There we go. So this here isn't coming loose anytime soon. I can pull on that pretty darn hard and it's not going to come up. So yeah, we can now dangle our entire rocket off this and all is well. And that's it for this video. So hopefully this was a nice quick primer on just how you can build a parachute from stuff you've got at home. And in our next video we'll actually be flying the Aquarion with the new parachute and seeing how it fares. So stay tuned for that one, hopefully it won't be too far in the future, and catch you next time.